2nd and 9 here from the 28. As Petrie drops back, now he's flushed out, in some trouble, gonna have to get rid of it soon. Evades one tackle, gonna put it down. Oh, and he bounced off of it. Stephen Petrie running like he is Mike Allstott out there, and there's a late flag, but boy, Petrie, we said he's a tough runner and just bounces off a man there.
Yeah, he bounces off one and then puts one in the ground. Obviously, a flag came out after that. There was some unnecessary, actions and stuff, so there's going to be a flag with that. But, that was a grown man run.
Wow. And, again, he just evaded the tackle. Looked like he may brought down for a sack, but just laid the shoulder, and a guy just crumbled at his feet.
That was intimidating. That was
unsportsmanlike conduct.
Oh, offsetting. So
those are offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct. Our director Dalton Carmine confirms. So again, offsetting unsportsmanlike there, but what a run from Petrie, who last year, again, very impressive on the ground, 512 rush yards and 10 touchdowns on the ground. That's more than what he had in the air.
Exactly, which you're starting to see that a lot in just any NFL and elite collegiate offense. The quarterbacks are starting to get a lot more touchdowns on the ground, but Petrie has I think if I'm a fan for Metamora, I'm looking for Petrie this year to sort of have that next step and show that he can be versatile in the pass game, and he did that in the first drive. So I'm really excited.
He's still trying to sort some things out here. 3rd and 3 at the 34 is what the scoreboard says. Again, so Petrie picked up about 5 or 6 there on that play. And while we got a quick moment, John, let's kind of go through some of the starters. We haven't really met the starters yet for Metamora. On the offensive line tonight, they're going to be looking to run behind their returning starters, Owen Cable and Riley Blue, Logan Grapp, Jay Murphy, and Jeffrey Reyes also on the line up front. Again, we saw McMillan score that early touchdown, 62 yards. As we get ready for this 3rd and 3, it's a swing pass to Cranford, trying to make something happen, makes a man miss. Puts his head down. It's going to be very close. Going to bring out the chain gang, I would assume, here.
Yep. Now, John, what do you do? Do you go for this with how your offense has sort of looked pretty good so far, or do you punt this one? What are you thinking if you're the head coach?
I'm going Q with Stephen Petrie under center. I'm going QB sneak right here if I'm Nick Dolinsky, but we'll see. They're not going to have to worry about the decision.
They
it's
got
a first down.
That was a big run by Cranford right there, just kind of putting his head down and run through contact. I feel like we've been saying that a lot this game so far, John, but that's just what he's been doing. He's been running through contact and not been going down easily without a fight.
So moving up to the 37 again. Redbirds up 8-zip in case you're just tuning in. Stephen Petrie, 62-yard touchdown pass to Kylan McMillan, their Macomb High School transfer, on their first drive about 4 minutes ago. And a pre-snap penalty here. This one might be on Metamora.
We're going to see a lot of those today. We were talking about the rust. There's going to be some rust for both of these teams. We already saw one with a drop pass that hit your hands, and then we saw this one with a false start. So it's a frustrating thing as a coach, but it's something that you're used to seeing, especially in the first game of the year.
They'll set Metamora back 5. We'll see if they can get back to it. And again, looking at Sterling's defense, John, again, we talked about Wyatt Cassins, but also another guy to keep an eye on that defensive line is Jeremiah Muhammad, a junior who's a returning starter for them as well.
Exactly. And, we talk about in college, all these sports, all of these good teams have great guys who are returners and veterans and who have been playing the game for a while. And that's what we're seeing right now with Sterling. They have a lot of great seasoned veteran guys.
A screen pass to Cranford there, and Cranford, I think, was knocked over by his own man, falls incomplete. Makes it 2nd and 15 here from Metamora's own 32. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Again, we're also tonight have a crew out at Normal, U-High, and Manual. You can watch that game live and for free on ClutchSportsIL.com on our YouTube page. Manual got out to a hot start in that when we tuned in, and Rams were up 16-14.
In the first quarter as well. So it was a really high-scoring game. I don't think we're going to get that in the first quarter. But, no, it was definitely, you play the games for a reason, right? So it was very interesting, and this game is going to be as good, if not better, I think.
2nd and 15, handoff. Cranford running to the left side, cutting it back to the right, brought down by his ankles. That'll give him a 3rd and manageable at least.
That's a really good bounce back by Metamora. I was about to say before they had that play that you had a really bad first 2 plays. You get a false start, and then you have a screen play that your own guy falls down, trips from his teammate. So that's a really good bounce back play by Metamora. Now you have a 3rd and manageable with a 3rd and 6. So now you're sort of in a way better position than you would have been if you didn't have a great 2nd down.
Could do anything here, could run, could pass. Again, Sterling's defense, something to note, sometimes they kind of have an odd front, sometimes they have an even front. Looks like they're going a little bit more with that, kind of that odd front here. And it's a keeper by Petrie, scurries across the 45 before he's brought down. It's going to be another one that's right on the edge, John.
It looks like he might have got it by the tip of the ball. But that was a really physical run from your quarterback. That's got to scare some Metamora fans as well. Like, yeah, Petrie's being really physical this game. We've seen him already truck a dude, but that fires you up, but that also worries you. He's putting his body at risk, which is such a scary thing to do nowadays because about the injury risk.
Well, Petrie's the guy that doesn't shy away from that. I asked him that question last year. I said, do you ever worry about that? Do you have people that worry about that? They says, no, I just put my head down and hit people. So it's going to be a 4th and inches here for the Redbirds. Just need to almost just fall forward, but Petrie is coming out of the shotgun here. There's the H-back, Caleb Morrison, moving over to the right. Petrie's going to run it and do just that. Fall forward. Just had to get that little running start to get that 1st down.
And, we were just talking about how I was kind of worried for, Petrie and Metamora as he was being so physical, and he just does that again. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So we've seen Metamora do exactly what we thought they were going to do with running the ball. And then also they've scared Sterling a little bit they've shown we can be scary in the pass game as well.
Certainly. See, they looked the way of Kylan McMillan again. Metamora lost their 2 top wideouts from last year. They will throw here. Going to the outside is brought in. Braden Bittner at the 39. Nice little comeback route. And that is a pickup of 22, I believe.
Yeah, that's a great ball. That shows that these guys have been playing a lot together over the summer. That ball is thrown before the wide receivers even turned around, and he was able to make that catch. So that's a really good sign for Metamora, and they've looked really great on their first 2 offensive drives.
That's pretty of 12, rather. You got going across the 50. Yeah, there's
that always messes with you.
Yeah, addition and subtraction maybe aren't the best strong suits to me. That's why we're up here in the booth. 1st
Exactly.
and 10 from the 40. Metamora is running some clock here in the 1st quarter. Petrie out of the shotgun. Cranford runs into a man right away, and the Sterling Golden Warriors were ready for him right there. Again, Shipma and I believe Deseo Ibarra Castillo were in on that tackle, one of the many.
Yeah, I think that's the game plan. We saw when Cranford was able to get out in an open field. He's obviously a problem. And we've seen Sterling sort of do a great job adjusting and having multiple guys take Cranfield down, and that's what you're going to have to do if you want to beat this team.
And 1 wide receiver, that's McMillan out wide. Now some extra blockers, Edwards and Zeke Bavard. They're starting H-back. Here's a run from Keon Allen, shot out of a cannon. First carry of the season for him, goes for 8, and John, I know we didn't talk a lot about Keon Allen during the week, but he's a guy that I know was Metamora's kind of second, third string back last year. But again, he got a lot of burn in that week 0 scrimmage because Cranford again wasn't on the field.
Exactly, and like Coach Dolinsky was talking about, that gives those quote unquote backups a lot more confidence, and you saw that confidence. That was a really strong run by Allen there. So
Allen, a 5'11", 200-pound junior. Metamora really running some clock here. They have had the ball now for about 4, 5, 6 minutes. Just this possession, just inching it down the field. Vard and Edwards move over to the right, and it's kind of a fake there. And I think that was Cranford on the carry inside the 25.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even it tricked out me. I thought the ball was tossed back as well. So they're doing exactly what Coach Linsky has want with giving them different looks, giving looks that are messing with Sterling. So it's been a really great game of executing your game plan for Metamora so far.
And they have been really dictating this one. And, again, you in time of possession,
You're
more often
most
than
likely-
not, you will win football
Exactly.
games. Especially a team that's young, that's on the road. And Metamora now 2nd and 4 from the 24. Petrie under center this time, handing it off. Allen brought down from behind. Again, that was Cassins on the tackle. Cassins, again, a 3-year starter who was an all-Western Big Six first-team player back in 2024.
Exactly. So you got to have some confidence if you're Metamora attacking the best, arguably the best player on Sterling's defense. So yeah, it's been a really great first quarter. Sterling's got to bounce back though.
And Metamora might be content to take this into the second quarter as they march on down the field. They did so a lot more quickly, though, their first time around, a 62-yard touchdown pass from Petrie to Kylan McMillan. And they're threatening here again in the red zone here as we start the second quarter. We'll be right back in our WMBD Game of the Week on CIProud.com.
Willow Lane Yoga and Wellness is now open at 7800 North Summer, featuring yoga, mat Pilates, reformer Pilates, and our exclusive to the area Fuse ladders. Find out why we're different at willowlaneyoga.com.
Family banking from a name you trust, Hometown Community Banks. For over 6 decades, we've been here right where you needed us. High-quality banking services delivered by caring professionals, people just like you who live and love Central Illinois. It's a history we're proud of, and one we'll continue to offer to every person who walks through our doors. When you bank in your hometown, your money stays in your hometown. Hometown Community Banks, divisions of Morton Community Bank. Look for the clock tower and you'll know we have time for you.
Wright's Furniture in beautiful downtown Pontiac provides the highest quality furniture for your home. Kick back and watch the game in one of our cozy recliners, or experience a wonderful night's sleep in one of our luxurious mattresses. Visit Wright's Furniture for comfort and quality.
And we're back from Malone Fields. Quarter number 2 getting underway between Sterling and Metamora, who holds an 8-point lead right now. And John, again, as we start the first week of the year, the first AP poll of the year released earlier this week. Again, Jonathan Michael alongside John Shikoda. And John, Metamora ranked this year in Class 4A. Now, that's because of a few different factors. Last year they played in 5A. Again, it's more of a guess at this point of the season, but they're ranked in the top 10, tied for 8th alongside Dixon in 4A.
Exactly, and that's not by mistake. That's not by accident. Metamora has been a really great and consistent playoff team. If you look on that banner behind this end zone over here, you can tell that they're a really good offensive or team in the Illinois playoff and Illinois football as well.
Metamora just inside the red zone. This will be their first play inside of it again this year. And again, a lot of firsts tonight we'll probably be mentioning. Again, biggest though, I think, is the first game as the head coach for Nick Dolinsky and Metamora. His Birds are off to a good start. And, you know, Dolinsky, I caught up with him back in July. He said that, you know, when week 1 hits, I'm probably going to be pretty emotional. You know, I mean, he's a guy that, you know, grew up around the area, Metamora grad, played for these playoff football teams, you know, 95, 96, went very deep in the playoffs. And again, it just means so much to him, not just him, his entire coaching staff, a lot of veterans on that group. As Cranford shot out of a cannon there and picks up an easy 9 yards. He made it look that easy.
Yeah, and you're seeing that from not just Cranford, but also in Allen in his few carries. They're coming out and they're being really explosive as they're hitting that gap in the backfield. So there is something you knew. This is not a secret. You knew Metamora was going to run the football today, and Sterling has not really had a great answer for him, as it looks like Cranford might have a cramp on the sideline over there, John.
Yep, and it looks like Allen is in for this down, 2nd and 1 from the 10. Cranford gets worked on right now. Again, certainly hope it's just a cramp. Again, Metamora puts 2 of their blocking tight ends in motion. Edwards and Bavard, they hand it off to their up man, and not much there. Again, good stop there from that Golden Warriors front. Every once in a while, the Golden Warriors have been able to kind of impose their will and kind of, again, win the line. That was one of their keys for both teams coming into tonight.
Exactly, and that's something you want to see them continue to do for the rest of the game. You've seen them have little spurts of that. Now you want to really put it together for one drive. Holding them to a field goal here would be really big for Sterling to carry that momentum over to the offensive side of the ball, and then you have a great drive there. But that's a really great stop. Now you got to stop him for 2 more times.
Cranford back on his feet on the sidelines. Again, might just be a cramp, but don't want to speculate. 2nd and 1 now. Again, as Metamora has had the ball for at least 7 minutes now on this drive. Started back at about the 25. Petrie keeps it, scurries back, cuts to the left, and he's got the first down. They're on 3rd and 1, so that's just the benefit, too. If Cranford has to come out for a play or two, your quarterback is essentially also a running back as well.
Exactly, and some quarterbacks take offense to that, but Petrie really embraces it, which is something that you like to see. He's really embraced the part of being a runner, and you also have a really good backup there in Allen, as we've seen in the few runs that he's had. He's been really explosive as well.
2 wide receivers from Metamora here. Bittner at the bottom of your screen and McMillan on the top. Allen is in the backfield. Kind of a wide front there for Sterling, and maybe a blitz come off the left side. It's a run by Allen, waits, pushes forward, and he's in.
Wow.
Keon Allen from 7 yards out gives Metamora the 2-score lead.
And just as you think, you lose Cranford in the backfield for Metamora, you think, oh, there's a big drop-off, and then Allen comes in and gives you a touchdown. So Metamora has been really, really dominant in this basically first quarter and a few. And I'm really interested to see how Sterling will bounce back. It's kind of a depleting, way that they're getting beat. They're just running it down your throat. So this will be a big – if you could stop this 2-point conversion here and then start something on offense right there, Sterling, you're right back in this game. It's a 2-possession game. It's the second quarter. It's really early.
Definitely is. Petrie trying to get the 2, and he's going to be taken down from behind. A good tackle there. I didn't see who that was. That might have been 5, Cameron Gibson, in on there. But, again, there's that big play, and it's swarming to the football
Exactly.
and keeps it a 14-0 game. John, I don't know if you're a fan of, you follow maybe on Twitter, Scoreagami. How about Clockagami? In the first quarter, Metamora scored with 9:47 to go in the quarter, and they scored with 9:47 to go in the second quarter as well.
I'm not a betting man, John, but if I was, I would say they're going to score with 9:47 in the third quarter, because they are going to – Sterling is going to ideally for Sterling score here, and most likely Metamora is going to try and run the clock out if they get the ball back. Some people may say it's the baby way to win a football game, but that's how you win a football game. Dominating the time possession, dominating the turnover battle, dominating the lines, and so far that's what Metamora has done. So Sterling, you have a great stop there with stopping the second the 2-point conversion. Now let's carry that over. Let's have another great kickoff return. Let's have a great drive on offense. So big drive here for Sterling.
Most definitely. And again, with those young guys, they haven't really been able to, you'd say baptism by fire. They haven't really experienced the fire that much. They were only on the field for 3 plays, and we're already, 2 minutes into the second quarter as well. So, again, these guys are still they're going to want to be on the field for a long time and just, again, get that experience, feel what it's like to, play at 8:30 p.m. on a Friday, because usually in past you're usually playing on a Monday or Friday, kind of precursor to the varsity game as a freshman as well.
Exactly, yeah. So that's different. Also, I think the game being kind of pushed back a little bit with all the senior night stuff is really big for them as well, and we got to see how they bounce back.
That throws off your schedule a bit, and Golden Warriors throw off Birds a bit there. They bring it out back to the 33, so a solid starting field position for Brady Berlin, their junior quarterback and company. Again, Berlin is the guy that John Schlumber said was kind of fighting for snaps. There's a little bit of a QB battle. There's 4 other quarterbacks on their roster, but again, it was Berlin there on that first drive. And John, a player to watch an offense for Sterling. I got my eye on Maurice De La Cruz, senior running back for them.
Yeah, and he's sort of the quote-unquote opposite. He's a little bit of a smaller, scrawnier running back compared to what we've seen with Metamora, as they've had 2 really sort of physical running backs. So I'm really interested to see how Sterling bounces back. As you've been talking about, they're a really young team. How do you bounce back? Do you come out really overexcited and eager in this drive?
Here's a pass from Berlin looking for his man, and just through the hands. He was looking for De La Cruz right there. And, John, that looked just like that earlier pass. He was trying to hook up with Quincy Moss and, again, just fell right through there.
Yeah. If you're Sterling, you haven't gotten the exact results that you wanted here, right, John? But you've had good. That was a good play. He was open. And that other one, Massa was open as well. You're getting openings in this defense, so you should not lose any confidence. You're being able to break through Metamora's defense. Now you just got to catch the ball and make the plays.
So 2nd and 10 here from the 34. Important to pick up something here for the Golden Warriors. 2 men in the backfield. Handoff, and Metamora was ready for it. Right there in the backfield was a lot of black helmets, and the first one there, it looked like Barbarinas was in there. It also looked like maybe Jackson Backus was in there as well.
Yeah, that's a kind of a demoralizing play after having that good play on first down. And we've been talking about how Sterling is sort of a younger team. How do you bounce back from that? That's a good first play. Yeah, you didn't make a play, but you had a good opening. And now you had a rough second down. This is a really big third down, especially if you want to stay in this game. You're down 2 possessions, and you're giving the ball back to a team that's been dominating time possession.
4 wide receivers here. Berlin looking to pass. He's going down anyways. Big sack in the backfield. Looks like that was Saul Swanson, the junior, who swarmed in there and pummeled Berlin.
Yeah, this first quarter and about a half has not gone Sterling's way. And also, you don't know how when the next time you're going to get the ball is, right? So that's also a really big reason for Sterling is you just gave the ball back to a juggernaut that's been sort of dominant with time of possession. So, and you're going to give them good field position. They're going to be basically near midfield. So this has not been a really great first half for Sterling. But, yeah, Metamora has just been really dominant today.
Low snap. Trouble with it there. More trouble for Sterling. They're going to have to do something. They get something away, and it's blocked. Metamora is going to have the ball in the red zone regardless of who falls on it.
Wow.
And again, coming back to that key, they had to nail special teams, and that does not help the Golden Warriors.
Exactly. Whereas Metamora has sort of done everything that Coach Zielinski has wanted them to do, Sterling has done the exact opposite of what their coach said to us prior to the game today. They have not done a great job of sort of hitting all their goals, hitting what they were supposed to do. You're supposed to win the battle on special teams. You're supposed to play better on special teams. They just didn't do that. They haven't been able to win the line. They have really gotten dominated in every sense of the way. But like we said, you play the game for a reason.
And take a look, John, just real quick of this, both these teams, what they did last year. Sterling, playoff team, they got eliminated in the first round of Class 5A. Metamora, they were 6-3 in the regular season and lost in round 2 in the playoffs to Chicago Morgan Park. We were here for that game. As here's a handoff, it's Allen again with some confidence now inside the 10 after scoring that touchdown on the last drive.
And he was starting to carry a player or two there as well. So not only you lose Cranford, right, and you think that's a blow for Metamora. It is, but Allen has been carrying people as he,
Cranford coming back out on the field
spoken into
as
existence.
We speak. Good thing to see if you're a Metamora fan, also a Northern Illinois Huskies fan. John, it's pretty interesting. I was looking at Jadon Cranford's, Twitter profile, just seeing if I can find anything new about him, what he's up to recently. And, with him being a Northern Illinois commit, I was being on his page, and now all of a sudden I'm seeing all these Northern Illinois football tweets in my timeline. So I guess I'm a default Huskies fan now. Petrie keeps it. And they switched it up there and fooled out the Golden Warriors.
Wow.
Touchdown for Petrie from 8 yards out.
That even fooled me a little bit. I thought Cranford had the ball originally too, but you beat him with Petrie, and Petrie is not afraid of contact. You saw him even get a little bit of contact there at the end of that play. This run game is as advertised as I thought it was going to be, and then some. This has been a really great, showing in the run game, especially for Metamora.
And Metamora has a lot of these kind of RPOs, a lot of options, and they just do all this stuff to keep you off balance. And so far, they have confused a young Golden Warriors team that, again, is maybe down on the scoreboard. But silver lining for them is they're really learning some valuable lessons here in this first game. Again, non-conference game as Metamora goes for 2. Fake handoff. Who's got it? It's the fullback, and he's in. I think that was Elijah Edwards diving in there. More trickery from the Redbirds, and it's just, you'll break your neck trying to figure out where the football is.
Exactly. just more trick plays, trick plays, trick plays. Just keep on piling on with these trick plays. Sterling needs to get a touchdown right in here. This is arguably will be, by the end of this game, I think the most important drive of the game so far for Sterling. It's still really early in the game. It's 7 minutes left in the second quarter, and you get the ball coming out of the half. So if you can really pile on a touchdown here, stop Metamora, get a touchdown, and then get the ball back, that's really big for Sterling. So this is a really big drive, and see how they react after being down 3 scores now.
22-0, and again, only about 2 minutes and some change ago, John, it was 8-0, and then they give up the touchdown run to Allen, and then the muffed punt, leading to a block and a short field. Petrie capitalizes his first touchdown run of the season. He's got 2 total touchdowns today, and last year, John, very effective against Sterling in the air. 11 for 13, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, including 2 touchdown passes of over 70 yards in this very matchup last year, which was at Sterling. Yeah,
which is definitely, something that, when you and I were talking about how Petrie did last year, he had more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns. So maybe it's Sterling, or maybe he's just getting more confident in the first game of the year.
And a weird kick there took a bounce. It might be Metamora football.
Oh, my gosh.
That's not how they drew it up, but all signs point to this staying with the boys in black. The Redbirds sideline celebrates, and this is just all Redbirds so far.
This is nothing at all on my bingo card of how I thought this game was going to go. I knew it was going to be, Metamora was going to be a little bit in favor, but Sterling has been such a great team so far in not even just the past few years, in the past year. So he has been really good. Metamora has been dominant so far.
7:06 to go, and Metamora could make it a 30-0 game if they can continue to do what they've done. 3 wide receivers here.
They have a guy wide open on the bottom of the screen.
Now they got him. Bittner covered up. Looks like Cranford might be split out wide here. Petrie facing some pressure off the right side. Going to air it out, looking for McMillan. There was some contact early, but I think it was too early to warrant a yellow flag.
Yeah, but also that was a really catchable ball. I'm surprised his arms didn't even go out for that ball. That ball, there was some contact, but that ball was, I feel like, within arm's reach. So if I'm a Metamora fan, I still want him to try and make an effort to catch that, because no lead is safe in football. No lead is safe in any really sport until the clock hits 0.
That is certainly true. Again, Sterling is not out of this one yet. They just need a big play, maybe a turnover, and a nice drive for them as we start to see kind of some heat lightning coming around the area. Again, very humid outside here tonight. Haven't seen a ton of cramps so far. Again, Cranford is back on the field. Heavy set for the Metamora Redbirds. Handoff, Cranford bounces off a guy, and that time is brought down quickly. One of his shortest runs of the night.
Yeah, and that's a really good thing. Look what you and I have been talking about. When Metamora gives the ball to Cranford, Sterling needs to tackle him with multiple guys. When they've tackled him with multiple guys inside the box, they've been able to stop him. He's not been able to go long and on big runs. So Sterling, when Cranford gets the ball, go at him with 2-3 guys, and you will be successful.
And the problem, though, is when they faked it to Cranford, the other guys kept it as well, and again, that's what led to Petrie scoring that last touchdown.
It's a dual-edged sword.
It really is. But a big third down for the Metamora Redbirds, 3rd and 9 from the 34. Play action to Cranford. Petrie again hit as he threw, going up and not really looking for it much, but a late flag.
Wow, that is late.
And Petrie was looking for, I believe it was either McMillan or Jason Pickles, one of their wide receivers. I think he was looking for Pickles, the 5'9" junior. That was a bit of a late flag, but the Redbirds will take it, assuming it stands.
I don't know how I feel about that call, John. That ball was not catchable, and I feel like that should factor in if you're going to call a pass interference. The ball needs to be catchable. That ball was nowhere within range. He was on the other side of the hash, and the ball was on the sideline. He was near the inside of the numbers. So I don't like that call. That kind of hurts Sterling, and I don't really agree with it as well.
Well, either way, we play on, so Metamora back inside the red zone again as we approach the midway point of the second quarter. Again, at halftime, we'll take you around the area and keep you updated with all the scores going on, not just here, but around the area, including we'll have a live look-in at our other game between U-High and Manual over at Peoria Stadium. Here's Petrie looking to throw, got a guy wide open, and a quick connection there for about 8 yards. And he connected there. Looks like with, might have been Bittner there who he connected with.
Yeah, that was. I mean, even their short passes, John, everything is so open for them right now. So I'm really interested to see how Sterling's going to come back in this second half.
Yeah, the Sterling defense is going to have to make a stand sooner or later. Someone's going to have to make a big play, a big tackle. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Wyatt Cassins? Again, their defensive end who they call Squirrel. Petrie looking for a screen pass. Got McMillan. Could this be number 2? He is. Kylan McMillan. 2 first-half touchdowns in his Malone Field debut.
Well, that's a great way to make your debut for a new school, a new team. This has been, I mean, it looks like it is too easy for Metamora, and this offense was not really supposed to be this high powered. They were predicted to be, yes, a good elite running team, but they weren't projected to be this good in all sets of the field with passing, running, O-line. They've been dominated in every sense of the offensive side of the ball.
And just, again, Petrie, you could just tell that he has spent a lot of time working with his receivers. Again, they're open. He knows where they're going to be. Again, that was maybe a more simple pass, than others, but again, just right on the money as he rolls out, looks for the 2-point conversion. They got it.
Exactly, but we're seeing a lot more confidence in Petrie this game specifically in his ability to throw the ball, which is something you love to see. That shows a great sign of maturity. Petrie's also has been on this team for a while. He's starting to get used to the playbook, so that's another big thing for him as he's starting to get comfortable throwing the ball, and that's something that I think Metamora has arguably the best backfield in the state with these two elite guys who are both very physical, and Petrie has shown today what he can do with the arm. If he can do just a lick of this in the state playoffs, Metamora is going to be scary in 4A.
Especially, if they play in 4A too. I mean, again, not saying that there's any, 4A is significantly easier. There's still a lot of good teams down in 4A, but again, you look, though, at some of these teams that were in 4A last year, maybe like your Wheaton St. Francis's or maybe some other of those Catholic schools. If any of those schools had won a playoff game, again, these are the new IHSA enrollment adjustments. Any private or any non-boundary school per IHSA language that has won a playoff game in the last 3 years is subject to the multiplier, 1.65. So, again, that bumps the enrollment up and is bumping some of these teams out of 4A. So, again, Metamora making an early statement. The number 8 team in the class coming into tonight's game. Kick is away, and the Golden Warriors will try and return it out across the 20. Now the 30, and man is brought down. Good return out to the 36. As we try and see who that was. Again, yellow numbers on white jerseys. Sometimes a bit tough to identify right away. But whoever that was a good return. And by the way, 2-point conversion was connected to with Braden Bittner on that reception. Good starting field position here for the Warriors here with 5:20 to go in the second.
Yeah, but even then, you had a good return, and your returner ran in to someone on the special teams unit as well. So, yeah, you had a good return, and it wasn't terrible, but still, you're seeing a lot of this, the youth of Sterling's team really show. But like I said on their last drive, John, it was a really big drive for them. This one's even bigger. This one is to stay in this game.
There's a pass. It's complete. And a first down for the Golden Warriors, their first of the night. And it looks like on that reception there was 36 for the Golden Warriors. Looks like that was Deseo Ibarra Castillo on the reception, starting linebacker for Sterling.
Yeah, now you have a first down. Let's use this momentum. That was a really good play, kind of an easy throw for the quarterback, but you need that. You need to get some confidence in your QB right now. So let's see if they can use that good throw and confidence with their quarterback now.
They'll hand it off, run up the middle, and right into the teeth of the Metamora front. Big stop there. Was 37 for the Redbirds. Don't have the one on the roster provided to us. There was a bit of a Slight roster change mishap for the Redbirds, but we'll get that for you. Now 2nd and 10 here from midfield, 4.5 to go. We get a quick timeout. And John, while we got a quick moment, let's take a look at the series history between these two teams. And again, non-conference, you may not see some teams every year, but again, they play in 2024. Metamora won 28-9. They played in 2023. Metamora won 28-17. They've already eclipsed 28 so far tonight. And then Metamora also won in 2014. And again, these teams have just played for quite some time against each other.
Exactly, and you think with that you would sort of learn their game plan a little bit, but with a new head coach for the first time in a long time for Metamora, that's a really big change for Sterling, as you're starting to see a lot more aggressiveness for Metamora in the passing game today, which is something that I didn't have marked on my bingo card. So Sterling is starting to have to adjust on the fly, which is what makes it so difficult for them.
And not sure who took that timeout. Both teams still showing with 3 on the scoreboard right now. We'll try and figure it out here. And they're marching backwards. We may have had a flag that went underneath my eyes. The ball was right around midfield after that completion to Ibarra Castillo, then that short run. Now it's back at about the 35 or so. So this is going to make things even harder for, again, this young offense led by junior Brady Berlin making his first start.
Exactly. So, yeah, he's a junior. He's an upperclassman. But, John, he still has had – this is his first high school start, and it's a really rough place to play as Metamora not only is one of the best teams in the state in their division, but also at home they've been dominant.
They certainly have, and again, a large home crowd that's had plenty of cheer about. Berlin under pressure, finds a screen. This might be big for the Golden Warriors. Out past the 50 and more. A big play there, and they were able to connect there.
That's a really nice throw there as well, John. Being able to make that throw through contact is something that I don't think a lot of younger classmen would do. But, yeah, he's a junior. This is his first start. That was a really good throw. You're going to take a hard hit. You know that. You see 2 guys rushing at you, so that's a really good throw by him.
So it will be a 3rd and 5 now from the 45. Pickup of 20 there for the Golden Warriors on that screen pass. Berlin looking to throw, got his man. Out past the 40 and more. Brought down by the helmet,
yeah,
and there's going to warrant a flag. Tackle was made there by Mark Aishleman, the DB. And again, he connected there with Ibarra Castillo for a big gain. So Sterling has had some nice yak yards after catch tonight.
And we've seen it come from the screen plays. Easy throws for your quarterback who's making his first high school varsity level start. So there's some nerves running through the system. Give him easy throws. Give him some screen plays. Give him those easy plays and put the ball in his teammates' hands to make these plays. And they've made big plays. And then you get a horse collar tackle to add on another 15. So now you're in real business here. This was a really important drive for you guys if you wanted to stay a lick into this game.
And a big key for Metamora, too, is keeping up with Sterling's speed. You know, it is a young offense, but one thing they do have is they have a lot of track speed. You know, Maurice De La Cruz went to state in 3 separate relays. He was 2nd in state in the finals in the 4x200. He was 6th in the 4x100 and 4th in the 4x400. Want to know who else was also on that relay team, John?
Talk to me.
Their kicker, Ryan Gebhardt, was part of that track relay team too, so he can fly down the field as well.
Even having athleticism as a kicker, and, I mean, there's a reason why he's able to kick the ball 47 yards because of that track speed, because of that athleticism. So Sterling has speed all around the field, and that's what Coach was telling us is he's not scared of Cranford. Cranford is a very fast runner, and when we talked to him about his speed, he was not scared. He trusted his guys.
Here's another little screen pass, but it's going to go for a loss. Bittner was all over it, covered it like a blanket.
That's when I would just rather have the quarterback throw into the ground on that. You don't get anything. You get a completion, yes, but you get a negative completion. So is that really a great thing? And that kind of slows you on. You had 2 great plays before that, along with the penalty that added 15 yards. So now how are you going to react to that with now you just lost some yards, and now it's 2nd and 16. So how are you going to bounce back with that? With now you're under 3 minutes in the second quarter. So this is a really big. You need to get a touchdown. The field goal is not acceptable on this drive. You need a touchdown.
I would have to agree. Even though they do have that possibility with Gebhardt, you do need to start cutting into this sooner rather than later, especially the way Metamora has handled the clock in this first half. But if Sterling plays their cards right, as we're going to get a timeout before the play is ran.
Oh.
I was going to say that, again, if Sterling plays their cards right, they could, pretty much almost nearly end the second quarter with a touchdown and leave Metamora pretty much almost no time to go down the field.
Yeah, but another mental mistake that they have not done a great job of today so far. You had a great drive going. Now you have to delay a game because you're not aware of the time on the play clock. So you got to bounce back here. You need a touchdown. I really believe that.
So now 2nd and 21. Again, Sterling did convert, though, eventually on what was a 2nd and 25 earlier this drive. Here's Berlin looking for a man downfield.
Beat him. Wow. That's a great
has
bounce
got
back.
it. What a throw and a connection. He got Quincy Moss on the go route from
Looking
28 yards out.
Looking like Randy Moss on that one, John. That was a really great throw, beautiful throw, and you finally see Sterling is able to catch a ball that their quarterback puts within reach. So that's a great way. You need to stop Metamora, though. Can you stop Metamora? It doesn't matter if your offense starts scoring a lot now. You need to have at least one stop to give your offense that positivity and momentum.
Beautiful ball there from Berlin hooking up with Moss. And the kick is well through. That one could have gone all the way to Roanoke. But, again, that was just a good drive you needed for Sterling just to, take something positive in the locker room. Now you do have 2:25 to go. If you can win these 145 seconds, I don't think John Schlemmer is going to be terribly upset with his team. Obviously, he knows that it's a young team and it's a process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you, from what I think, you know what your Metamora is going to do in this last few minutes. They're going to try and run the ball. So if you're able to either stop them or if you're able to somehow create a turnover and then maybe get a field goal or a touchdown out of it, you get the ball coming out of half. So you're right back in this game. You get 2 possessions. You score on both of them. You are right back into this game if you're Sterling. So don't keep your head down. That's a really great drive. Even though there were some setbacks, it shows that they've had some in-game development and maturity as you're able to bounce back after having a rough delay of game, and you make a beautiful throw that gets you 7 points.
Definitely. And again, Sterling will receive the second half kickoff. So, again, Sterling not out of this game yet, but Metamora, 30 points in the first half has been very impressive. Again, in case you're just tuning in, first off, I want to thank you for joining us in our WMBD Game of the Week on CI Proud. Alongside John Shikoda, I'm Jonathan Michael. And scoring plays for Metamora today, there's been a lot of them. 2 touchdown passes to Kylan McMillan, their new wide receiver from Macomb, 62 and 8 yards out. Touchdown runs also from Keon Allen and Stephen Petrie as well, plus a few 2-point conversions.
That was a great kick.
And Gebhardt sends it into the end zone for a touchback, and Delinsky said that he wants more of those this year, more touchbacks. But again, talking about McMillan, John, again, a former Macomb current Macomb transfer, and again, he's not just any wide receiver, not just any guy. I mean, he had 32 catches, 597 yards, 6 touchdowns last year as a junior. So this is a guy that was one of the top targets for a pretty solid Macomb team.
Yeah, now you bring that production over, and now you sort of have those 3 weapons. You have a good quarterback, you have a good running back, and now you have a good wide receiver, one that you can trust. So Metamora did a great job of sort of getting that wide. Last year they were sort of missing that elite wide receiver, and now you get that with McMillan.
And again, they did graduate Avery Grebner, Eden Cote, 2 longtime guys that were big factors for him. But again, McMillan, excited to see what he brings this year. There's a run up the middle for about 5. About 2nd and 5 here. I believe that was Cranford there on the carry. Again, good to see him back out on the field. So, again, if you're Sterling, I think this, again, if you could get the ball back, but it's got to be a 3-and-out, I would say.
Exactly. You still have 3 timeouts left as well, so if you can stop them on this play and the next one, call a quick timeout, make them work and try and get them as they stop the read. But
Petrie going forward for a first down. Pick up about 11 in that motion from Cranford. Kind of set them out on that little swing and got all of Sterling's eyes going to the outside. Petrie cuts to the inside, and boom. That's how you pick up 11 yards in Nick Dolinsky's offense right there.
If you showed Cranford's stat line through the first half to any Illinois high school football fan, you would think, how is Metamora not winning this game? It's because it's had a great game from Petrie and the team around Cranford. Sterling has done a great job of shutting Cranford down, but it's not just a one-man wrecking ball. It's a great team that's built around them, and they've showed that today. And they just
and the hard count got not 1, not 2, but 3 Golden Warriors popping across the line there. A little bit too antsy to try and make a big TFL.
Yeah, and that's another thing. The youth of Sterling is really showing in this first half. So can they sort of fix that, these youth sort of young mistakes that a lot of young teams would make? So I'm really interested to see that.
1st and 5 now for the Redbirds at the 42. Again, if you're Sterling too, if Metamora keeps on picking up yards, got to watch over your head. They might pop a deep pass like they did with McMillan earlier.
Exactly.
2 men in the backfield, 1 the H-back. Here's Cranford, and tripped up right away, brought down at the 44. Cranford, a state champion in indoor track and field, the 60 meters. And, John, I was literally right there at the finish line. I saw that race. I pretty much blinked, and the race was over. I was trying to take a picture of Cranford during the race. By the time he came in focus, I was able to get him all lined up. Boom. Race is over, man. He is light and fast. He ran a 6.74. Which is massive in 60 meters indoor track. I mean, unbelievable speed there. As Petrie out across the 45, and he's wrestled down.
Yeah, but, I mean, if you're Sterling, you're probably not getting this ball back for the rest of the half, but at least you were able to not let them score, which has been such a struggle for Sterling on the defensive side of the ball today. So take your positives where you can get them. You're able to stop them on the offensive side of the ball. So.
And Metamora looks like they took a timeout. So, again, if they would have let it run, you probably would have figured, they're just content to go into halftime. But this seems to infer to me, John, and again, I'm just guessing, maybe they might be trying to draw something up here. Maybe a little screen pass, get Cranford, get McMillan, get someone fast out in space. Maybe get a long play and see what you can do. You got time for maybe 2, maybe 3 more plays.
Exactly, yeah. And you still have 2 timeouts left. So you have a lot more than just 22 seconds left in this first half to really draw up something that could get you guys going on offense. So yeah, Sterling, you have to be on the lookout for a pass, for a short pass, for maybe a play action play and a rollout. That is what Petrie did to them when they got that 62-yard pass.
So they'll be coming from about the 47, 53 yards away from pay dirt. And Metamora student section really showing out tonight, John. We were walking in, and how about you? But there were some fellas tailgating, playing bags. I mean, it is football night in Illinois for the first time in a while. Feels good
Friday
to be
Night
back.
Lights.
Petrie, there's that screen pass going for Pickles, and he gets it maybe across the 50, but couldn't quite break it out as long as they maybe would have hoped.
Yeah, some nice juke moves, and I'm really surprised that Metamora called another timeout. After that play, John, I understand you're still trying to score. I get it, but you didn't have a huge play to get you really in field goal position. You haven't kicked a PAT, so you don't know what your kicker has yet. We don't know what your kicker has yet, so that's an interesting timeout call.
And maybe trying out different plays too. Again, you're really in somewhat of a low risk situation here. Obviously, don't want to throw a pick six. That would be very detrimental, but. Again, you're trying out different situations. You're still feeling things out. It's week 1, and again, we talked to Nick Dolinsky, talked to John Schlemmer. They both were all about really simplifying the playbook, and that's really what Dolinsky tried to do with this Redbirds offense when they were at their week 0 scrimmage, which, by the way, John, was against Chatham-Glenwood. That's a heck of a team to play against a week 0. So the Redbirds clearly learned some things from a very good Class 6A team.
Exactly, and yes. Not all of your starters played, but those backups like Allen are using that game where they played a great team and implementing it against a team that has not looked as great as them. So you're seeing that work that they put in pay off.
Petrie loading up for a pass on the comeback. He's got Bittner on the outside and out of bounds. Only takes a few seconds off the clock, and John with 7.6. Might have one.
Maybe
two. Is going to be right on the dot, but a good connection there. Boy, Petrie and Bittner, they must have worked together a lot in the offseason because they are just seemingly on the same page every time. It's been a tough night for these Sterling DBs.
Yes, and now it's are you going to go for a field goal or are you going for the end zone here? What does your kicker have? Can your kicker make a 40-plus yard field goal, or do you need to get it into the 25-ish yard line? So what are you doing? Do you go short or are you going for a touchdown? I'm really interested to see what Metamora does here.
I think they're probably going to go for a touchdown. Their kicker last year, Tommy Sopko, is also a star tennis player for Metamora, not playing football this year, so bit of a question mark there. Petrie going outside again, and it's Bittner on almost the exact same play, a pickup of about 11. They'll give him one play with 2.9 to go.
Yeah, so now it looks like they're going to kick.
I'm not sure. Maybe they're bringing in different personnel. Cranford's heading to the sidelines. Petrie coming back. We'll see what they do here. And they might be. And they're trying to figure out where this wind is coming from, trying to locate where the flag is. And
I don't see.
I don't know. Trying to figure this out, but it looks like they might be setting up for a kick. Braden Bittner will be the holder. And they will line it up. So this will be a 39-yard field goal for Metamora to try and make it a 33-7 lead going into halftime. Snap is good. Hold is good. The kick is on the way. Running out of gas and coming up just short. Not a bad effort.
No, not
Might
at all.
as well do it
Exactly.
with 2.9 to go, but still a mountain of a first half from Metamora. They got to be feeling good going into that locker room for the first time this year, up 30-7 over Sterling.
Overall for Metamora, it was a dominant half. Sterling had a good bounce back at the end of the second quarter, definitely, though. You're able to get a touchdown. They missed the field goal, but you were still able to, quote-unquote, stop Metamora from scoring and adding on to their lead. Now you get the ball to start the second half. You get a quick touchdown. It's still a two-score game, but you're still in the game. So, Sterling's got to come out, and they need to score. First drive, and it needs to be a touchdown.
Good first half for the Redbirds. We'll see what this Golden Warriors team learned from the first half and what they use it for in the second half as well. We're going to take a quick break for halftime, but stay tuned. We'll be right back for our halftime show. Don't go anywhere. We caught up with Nick Dolinsky to hear about week one and also his relationship with Sterling head coach John Schlemmer as well. Don't want to miss that. And we'll also, again, take you around the area. Lots of other scores around as well. So we'll be right back here from Malone Field. Metamora leads 30-7.
Sam Lehman of Morton, the #1 Ram truck dealer in Illinois and largest Ram dealer in the Midwest. This month, take $16,000 off a brand new Ram 1500 Crew Cab, or save $12,000 on a 2025 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Plus, take $10,000 off a new Jeep Grand Cherokee. All this and more during the Labor Day sales event at Sam Lehman of Morton, where we do the deals no one else will.
Looking for a new pair of boots? Time to replace that old cowboy hat? Branded Country Wear is Central Illinois' one-stop shop for all things country. From jeans to boots to accessories, Branded has something for the entire family. Stop in Monday through Saturday and let our friendly, knowledgeable staff make your shopping experience one to remember. Or shop online 24/7 at brandedcountrywear.com. Branded Country Wear, where Central Illinois does country.
Passionate, focused, strong, qualities that you look for in a great athlete, and also a great lawyer. At Strong Law Offices, injury law is at the heart of what we do. Our team is on your side. When the game is on the line, let us tackle your claim.
Willow Lane Yoga and Wellness is now open at 7800 North Summer, featuring yoga, mat Pilates, reformer Pilates, and our exclusive to the area Fuse ladders. Find out why we're different at willowlaneyoga.com.
Looking for a getaway close to home? Discover Mackinac Valley Vineyard, wine country in your own backyard. Sip handcrafted wines on the wraparound deck. Take in stunning views of the rolling countryside and make memories that last a lifetime. Get your Stomp on Lucy style. It's the annual Grape Stomp and Harvest Fest, August 31st. Barrel stomping, wine sipping, full-on grape escape. Learn more at MackinacValleyVineyard.com.
Every Sunday morning, we shine a light on the stories that often go untold, but matter the most. Stories told by the people who live it, rooted in community, rich in story. Join me, Thomas Garbrick, Sunday mornings right here at 7 on WMBD, Central Illinois Proud.
Thank you for making this year's duck race a success. Your support helps build a safer, more peaceful community. Learn more at centerforpreventationofabuse.org.
Wright's Furniture in beautiful downtown Pontiac provides the highest quality furniture for your home. Kick back and watch the game in one of our cozy recliners, or experience a wonderful night's sleep in one of our luxurious mattresses. Visit Wright's Furniture for comfort and quality.
Welcome back to Metamora. The band is taking the field here for their first halftime performance of the year. Again, Redbirds lead the Golden Warriors 30-7 here in our WMBD Game of the Week on CIProud.com. Glad you're with us. I'm Jonathan Michael. Alongside me, John Shikoda. And John, again, we talked with first-year head coach Nick Dolinsky. First off, class act of a guy. I mean, really good to talk with him, and he's a guy you can just talk football with for hours. I mean, we were with him for about half an hour. We could have talked for 2 hours if we wanted to, but that's a great guy that loves football, loves Metamora football, has a lot of knowledge as well. And so we caught up with him again earlier this week talking about, again, his first game as a head coach and as well his relationship with head coach John Schlemmer, childhood friends across the sideline. He said it's going to be all hate during the game, but all love, hugs after as well. So two competitive guys. We'll send it to a quick break here with Nick Dolinsky and be right back here on WMBD.
Yeah, I mean, week one's always a big year. It's always big in every year we go into it. And having that opportunity to play Sterling, who's a great program, makes you get after it pretty quickly. So we don't have a lot of time to find out who we are. So, we got to be ready to go on week one. But we talked about it before, and you talk to the kids about the emotions of week one are always big, and it's our senior night. So there's a lot of things that'll be flowing, and obviously being the first time out, as the head coach, we'll definitely have some butterflies and some nerves, and if you don't, I don't think you should be doing it anyway. If it's the 50th year or my first year, but that part's not going to change from when I was before, because we put a lot of time and effort, and the kids really care, and they do everything we can ask of them. So coming out and playing well and showing out on week ones, it's our goal. I mean, Coach Slimmer's a couple years younger than me, and Coach Slimmer, his dad was my head baseball coach, and he coached football, and I love the family dearly. Coach Slimmer was really, really good to me, probably better than he should have been, but put a lot of trust in me at a young age in high school, and was one of those guys, when you got people that are important in your life and you go to high school and you got that coach, and I've been blessed because I had a lot of good ones, and so that part of it is really important to me. And then, I got to coach John for a couple of years when I was volunteering, and I've seen him grow, and but I mean, it's not like that part of it, but I would say that our friendship has really grown. I mean, he's only 4 years younger than me, so it wasn't like I saw him since grow his whole life, but no, it is special, and I know that John does a great job up there at Sterling, and he has, and they're going to be well prepared, and we spent a lot of time talking in the off season too about everything. So, it's one of those love-hate kind of week one games where it's a great game because it's two really good programs, but it's a lot of hate until the game's over, and then there's going to be a lot of love afterwards.
And always great to catch up with Nick Dolinsky. We've already talked to him a couple times this year in the offseason leading up to the year. And, John, again, just looking at that first half for Metamora, it was, pretty ground heavy right away. But, again, really that long touchdown pass from McMillan really set the tone. They caught Sterling and kind of rocked him to sleep with a bunch of runs and threw it over the top.
Yeah, definitely. And then you saw Sterling sort of return the favor at the end of the first half there with that beautiful play and scoring play. Their only scoring play of the day so far. But, yeah, Metamora has been as dominant as advertised and then some. They've been really dominant on the ground with the run game. So, yeah, if you are Sterling, you're looking to sort of build on – you had two strong drives on the defensive and offensive side to end the half. So you have a little bit of momentum. You get the ball here at halftime, so use that, get a touchdown, get back into this game.
Definitely. And, again, for Sterling, it was a very rough first quarter for them. But, again, it seemed like they turned things around, got things going in the screen game especially. We haven't really seen a ton of running for them, kind of designed runs. They've been able to get out to the outside. Haven't seen a ton of Maurice De La Cruz, but I think part of that has just been game scripted. And, again, the score on the scoreboard is 30-7. You're going to have to pass a little bit more in the second half.
And also, in the little chances that they've had to run the football, Metamora has done a great job of shutting them down, short runs, so you haven't really, in the chances that you've had to run the ball, you haven't been able to do much because Metamora has done a great job of shutting that down. Their only weakness on defense that Sterling has been able to expose so far is their defense in the screen game, in the screen pass game. Those are the plays that Sterling has been able to get big jumps and big plays in. So if I'm a Sterling coach right now, I'm looking and I'm saying, guys, we got to start passing into the screens more. Those are being really effective for us.
Most definitely. And, John, again, real quick for you, what's maybe a key that you think that – we'll start with Metamora. What do you think Metamora has a key for here in this second half?
John, I think you got to continue to dominate time possession, dominate the ball. Do what you were doing in the first half. Just keep on – do what you were doing in those first two drives, John. You just got to keep on running that ball, wasting time – well, quote-unquote, wasting time. Just run the ball up and down the field. Get the clock moving. And if you're Sterling, you need to tackle with multiple people every time that the ball is being ran. More than likely than not, Metamora is going to run the ball. You saw that last half. You're going to see it a lot more this half because they're up by a big time, and they're starting to realize Sterling's starting to get a little momentum on the offensive side of the ball. So if you're Sterling, you have to have some strong defensive shifts.
Most definitely. And again, we will come back again after a quick break here from Malone Field. Redbirds lead at 30-7. First, you can hear all about CSM Overtime, where again we just had 85 fall sports previews leading up to the season. We'll be right back after this on CIProud.com.
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
your stories, your stats and standings,
your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts. As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds. CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action. More stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
Welcome back to Malone Field. Halftime rolling on here in Metamora. And John, a lot of interesting scores in week one. You know, we talk about all this hullabaloo about pregame and preseason and rankings and all this stuff. You never know how things are going to shape out until week one. Well, we got some scores for you for the Central Illinois area teams tonight. John, we'll start with the game that is going down to the wire. Niles Notre Dame, a team that was 3-6 last year but plays in a very tough league, is up 13-12 on a Washington team that is potentially able to win the Mid-Illini this year, and that one has 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That one very close. Another surprisingly close game, Monticello, a team that was in the 3A state title game last year, playing IVC, a team that was 3-6 last year, has had some rough seasons lately. Monticello only leads IVC 7-6 at halftime of that game.
Yeah, so, you know, people say new year, new me.
Yeah.
It's a new year, new team, different players. You lose some players, which stinks, but you get some different players as well. So it's you lose some great players, but you also get some additions as well.
And we'll take a live look at, again, our other game right now. UI and Manual is actually wrapping up. That one is in the final minutes as we get a look at an instant replay. John, look at the score of this game. It just popped up. UI leads Manual 70-22 in the final minute. Nearly 100 points at Peoria Stadium. My goodness.
And you and I were thinking that Manual was up in the beginning of the game. So
they were up 16-14.
So and
unbelievable.
It's if you like offense, that's the game for you.
And again, you're looking live at Peoria Stadium. Again, that game broadcasted on ClutchSportsIL.com. Again, now 71-22 after that PAT from the Pioneers. Mollywhopping over Manual here in week one. Some other scores, though, as we watch the end of that game. Some finals already. Bloomington, big win over Danville, 40-7. El Paso Gridley in the heart of Central Illinois Conference, 28-14 over Braidwood Reed Custer. Tremont put up a decent fight against a very good Gibson City Melvin Sibley team. GCMS wins, though, 38-13. Normal Community up big on Richwoods, 40-6. Bloomington Central Catholic leads Paxton Buckley Loda 14-0. Farmington, how about the Farmers, a team that went to the 2A state semis last year? Their offense hasn't missed a beat. They're up 51-28 on West Hancock. East Peoria, another Mid-Illini team, leads 40-12. Normal West and P&E, a game that I really had my eye on a lot. Normal West leads it 34-14 at the moment. Olympia, close lead over Petersburg Porta, 38-30 right now. DMAC beats Eureka by 30. 38-8. What a win for Cody Myers and the Chiefs. Big way to start the season for them. Hayworth a winner tonight, 24-0. Limestone falls 49-0 in the head coaching debut of Corey Bielema, new head coach for them in Canton. And Herscher locked in a close one at 28-24. That one in the third quarter. So again, all those teams we listed off, we have previews for every single one of them. Not just for all those football teams, but for volleyball, soccer as well. All on CSM Overtime. Again, we'll have plenty more coverage as the year goes along, but that was, John, I believe, the biggest preview project that anybody has put on anywhere in the state for football, volleyball, and soccer. So again, in-depth previews, not just a few bullet points, in-depth previews for football, volleyball, soccer teams, 85 in total, all from around Central Illinois on CSM Overtime, plus much, much more during the year as well. So we'll take one more quick break here from Malone Field and come back for the second half in a little bit. Metamora leads 30-7 over the Sterling Golden Warriors.
At Bob Grimm Chevrolet in Morton, we're out to sell $20 million of new Chevys in 2025, and we'll do whatever it takes to hit our goal. We'll save you thousands by discounting every new Chevy in stock and giving more for your trade. We'll check all the options to get you the best interest rate, plus every rebate possible to save you even more. When we sell a new Chevrolet, each of the 365 days this year, we stay on track. Will you be the next to make our day and be our one new Chevrolet? The math is simple. One new Chevrolet every day. That's the Bob Grimm way.
Peoria Production Solutions is a unique not-for-profit manufacturing company. For over 80 years, our mission is to be the premier employer of individuals with disabilities. We are committed to providing employment, training, and encouragement to people with all types of disabilities. With 300 employees and our 2 facilities, we continue expanding our capabilities and growing our team. We are Peoria Production Solutions. Higher performance, higher standards.
Get the WMBD Plus app for your TV on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV to stream WMBD News straight to your living room. Watch WMBD News on WMBD Plus. Central Illinois proud.
You're invited to the 60th Annual Cattle Auction to benefit Children's Home Association of Illinois on Friday, September 5th. This signature end-of-summer fundraiser featuring food, music, dancing, and more supports the kids and families who need it most in Central Illinois. Purchase your tickets at chale.org.
Halftime starting to wrap up at Malone Field. You get a look at the Metamora students. A lot of them out strong tonight in support of their Redbirds. They were tailgating before the game. And John, again, we talk about the football teams on Friday nights, but again, there's so many other things that deserve highlights at the school. So this is the debut of our Around the Horn, taking a look at what's up in other Metamora sports this past week. Volleyball beat El Paso Gridley in 2 sets yesterday. The Redbirds volleyball team out to a 2-0 start. Their boys soccer team looking for a big year, potentially a big breakout year. Lots of seniors back for them. They play Chicago Christian up in a Stillman Valley tournament tonight. And their boys golf team tied for third at the 17-team P&D Invite on Wednesday. A highly competitive match in the area. Jordan Kerr has been off to a phenomenal start on the links for the Redbirds golf team. His third top 10 finish of the young season already. And for Sterling, their team in volleyball beat crosstown rivals Sterling Newman, also a good football school. And their volleyball team now 2-1. Their boys soccer team actually at the same tournament Metamora is playing Oregon and cross country at the Sycamore Invitational on September 2nd, early next week. So that's just a little bit of what's going on in other sports around Metamora and Sterling as well. Second half kickoff is away. The Redbirds recovered in not really a designed onside in that first quarter. This one brought back by Sterling and brought down at the 42.
It's a great way to start the half.
Is their return man. That was 23, Alexander Zaragoza, who's a starter in their secondary for John Schlemmer.
Yeah, that's a great way to start the half, John. You had a lot of people are counting you out. You're down 30-7 at the start of the half, but that's a great way to start it. You have great field position. You're basically at the 45-yard line of your own side of the field to start your possession. That's great starting field position. Now let's see if you can capitalize on this.
So 1st and 10 now from the 43-yard line. Best starting field position all night, I believe, for the Golden Warriors. And this haven't had a ton of drives so far. Man in motion, that's De La Cruz. They hand it off to him. Run to the right side, out across midfield. He's got a first down. The best run of the night so far for Maurice De La Cruz, the small senior, just 5'8", 155.
Yeah, and you're starting to see Sterling is starting to get a lot more comfortable. They're starting to run their offense, so they sort of needed that one drive to get them comfortable with all those screen passes. Now you're starting to get in a comfortable sort of offensive flow now, and you're starting to see their offense start to move. Yeah, it's one play, but you're already over midfield, and this is your second play of the half, so a great start for Sterling.
And it all starts with, again, you have to completely abandon the run in the second half. You are down 23, but there's still plenty of time to establish it, keep Metamora off balance. That's a big key, again, for their defense this week was knowing their keys and assignments. Berlin going deep and overthrew his receiver. I think he was looking there. Might have been for Joseph Duffy, number 10, senior wideout.
Again, I really like that play call. You have to be a little aggressive. You're down 37 in the third quarter. So I like the play call there, but I really do like that's a good ball. I understand it's a little in front of him, but you'd much rather have the ball be in front of him than in the opponent's hand. So it's a sort of a good miss, all right? You get it. You get a big play out of it. If not, nothing hurts. You still have 3 more downs, possibly 2. But I think you're in fourth. You need to go for it if you get to 4th down here.
Especially in Metamora territory as well. Second down, Berlin looking to throw again, this time to the left side, and coverage was Cranford. If he was able to complete that to Moss, he would have been brought down pretty much right away. And, John, I just remember that big tackle Cranford had right away in this game. That
sort
first
of set
play.
The tone.
Exactly. You said set the tone for Metamora, and that really fired up that sideline.
Yeah, and they sort of kept that energy going basically all game. Now, if you are Sterling, you have a great kicker who can kick 47 yards. I could say even if you get the ball to the 35, that's a 50-yard kick. And Sterling, you have a kicker who's one of the best kickers in the state, and if you can get it within his range, I think that's a great drive for you.
3rd and 10. Berlin looking to pass. He's brought down. It's going to be a sack. Loss of about 2. That was Sam Barbarinas bringing him down there. The returning starter on that defensive line. Had 3 sacks last year. Has got 1 tonight.
Yeah, that is a rough way to end a great starting, great-looking drive for Sterling. You had a lot of momentum going after that first play you're driving. You sort of stall out, so that's a really hard way. Now you're going to have to give Metamora the ball back with great field position. Oh, really?
So there is a penalty heard over the PA system on that play on Metamora, so they will redo this 3rd down. It looks to be 3rd and about a long 2 or so from about the 35. A couple wide receivers on the field here. Again, Jack Sathoff at the bottom of your screen. Quincy Moss near the top. Again, he's been Berlin's biggest target tonight.
1 safety over the top as well, so one-on-one coverage on the bottom of your screen here.
3rd and 2. We'll see if Berlin looks Sathoff's away.
He beat him.
Didn't have it. Berlin trying to run for it. He's close, but close enough to try for it on 4th if they need to.
Yeah, but yes, that's a great play. You get positive yardage, but if you're a quarterback, I understand. I'm not a quarterback. I never played quarterback. There's a reason, but you got to scan the whole field. You had a free touchdown right there. If you looked at the bottom of the screen, that's a free touchdown. He beat his man, so you got to hit him next time.
And all part of the growing process for Berlin. New quarterback this year. Again, Sterling trying to replace the efforts of Drew Nettleton, their quarterback, and wide receiver Caden Phillips from last year. So now a big 4th and 1 now from the 34. This could be a key play in this one. And it's kind of a wildcat formation, and it's going to be a 1st down out across the 30. Metamora didn't put up a big of a fight as they wanted to there. I don't believe that was Berlin carrying the ball. Looked like that was 0. That was, again, guess who? Wyatt Cassins.
Yeah, that run looked a lot like a Metamora run from today. That was a very explosive run. You saw right when Cassins hit that gap, he exploded. He hit that gap and jumped right away. So a really sort of not a way that Sterling has been running the ball. They looked really good on that run, so let's see if they can carry that.
Big 4th down conversion there. Handoff. Another big gain there. That was De La Cruz down to the 21. And John, Metamora fans, again, John, I know you're still kind of acclimating you to the whole kind of Central Illinois area, Clutch Sports Media as well. But Metamora, Washington, we said, like the Packers-Bears rivalry. Exactly. And Metamora fans are going to be happy to know that Niles Notre Dame, 13-12 final, over Washington tonight.
That's a big win for my Niles Notre Dame. I didn't go there, but that was really close to my house. So little happy there. But, yeah, a big win. And now Metamora fans, you got to finish your job here, though.
Here's De La Cruz out to the outside. He's got the edge. He's got 6. Maurice De La Cruz from 21 yards out. And John Sterling trying to creep back in this one early in the 2nd.
Exactly, and that's exactly what you needed to do if you wanted to get back in this game. Now if you're Sterling, do you go for 2 or do you stay kicking this for this PAT? So I'm really interested to see what they do, and you need to stop him here on offense.
If I was a head coach, John, again, I never going to be one and never have asked you to be one, but down 17, you always, I think, kick the PAT. That way you can get it within 2 scores. Yeah. If you miss it, then you're down it's still a 3-score game. So, we have a player down, I believe a Golden Warrior cramping up there on the far sideline. So Ryan Gebhardt will have to wait on his point after attempt here, but what a run there from De La Cruz, again, the state track qualifier, showing off his blazing speed there.
Yeah, that was a great run by De La Cruz. To sort of use that secondary, sort of that acceleration at the end, you really saw him. He was with everyone, and then he hit that second gear and just jumped in front of everybody. So that's a really good drive. I think that's the best drive we've seen of Sterling today. Now, yes, they had another great drive where they scored at the end of the first half, but this one looked like they were in control the whole time, really, and were able to control the pace, control everything, and they got 7 points out of it.
The player down was actually a Metamora Redbird as Braden Bittner, again, we've called his name multiple times tonight, senior returning starter at wide receiver and cornerback as well, who again in that interview you may have seen earlier said that he has been waiting his whole life for this day. So he's starting to kind of put some weight back on those feet again. Again, hopefully it's just a cramp. Again, humidity is high. You haven't been going through the full season, maybe not doing that full contact yet. So again, just hopefully it's a cramp for Braden Bittner. Would hate to see him have to leave the field here tonight.
Especially on your senior night, especially in your first home game, first game of the season as well, first game of his senior year. So a lot of this, a big important game, that was sort of a rough snap.
But it's still good for Ryan Gebhardt. It makes it a 2-possession game. So again, after it was 30-0, Sterling has come back with touchdowns from Maurice De La Cruz, as well as that long touchdown pass to Quincy Moss from 23 yards out to end the second quarter.
So for me, John, we've seen what Sterling can do on the offensive side of the ball. They're starting to get a lot more comfortable, but now the real test for them is on the defensive side. Can you stop them? Because if that clock didn't run out at the beginning of the first half, I truly do believe that Metamora would have scored another touchdown there. The only reason why they didn't score is because it was a far field goal. So can you have a really good defensive outing here and stop them, not give up a point, have them go 3 and out, and get the ball right back?
We'll see what happens. Again, never know. Could maybe dial some trickery. I'm sure Gebhardt knows a thing or two about trying to practice some onside, so maybe try and pull a fast one. But again, still plenty of time in this one, 8:48 to go. And John, for those of you just tuning in wondering, why isn't this game further on? There's games that are final. Well, again, we started at about 8:10, 8:15 tonight because of a lot of seniors here tonight to honor for Metamora between the cheerleaders, the football players, the band as well. So we're going to be playing late into the night here in Metamora. And Gephardt's kick is away from the 40, and this is a low kind of a pooch kick into no man's land, but brought in at the 28 and returned out for, I was going to say 10 yards, more like 12 or 13 after that return there.
That's I think, a strategic kick. We've seen Gebhardt kick it all the way to the back of the end zone, so we know he has that leg, but you don't want to give the ball to Cranford and have him sort of have that explosive playability. You'd much rather go to another player that does not do what Jaden Cranford can do to you. So I like that. I really do.
So Redbirds take over at the 40-yard line officially. John, something interesting I saw when I came into town is the the folks who I'm going to guess believe over at City Blue were already hard at work. There was a sign coming into town. It said, again, Nick Dolinsky, new head coach, said Dolinsky's Army, and it showed all the players on there. Well, and this is the first player on it.
Wow.
Jadon Cranford leading his team to 6 more points.
Wow.
60-yard house call for the future Husky. Wow, what a run.
And right as we thought they were able to sort of shut Cranford down, he was really quiet for the whole first half. Didn't really have any big plays like that, and just like that, has a huge run play, and wow, I thought Sterling had some momentum, and Metamora just shut that down right away.
Cranford's first touchdown of his senior season went almost untouched to the end zone, and again, that's just what he can do. You get him in the open field, good luck, or as the kids say, GG's.
Yeah, and you saw that sort of 6'7", 60-yard dash speed right there.
Definitely. Here's a 2-point conversion. It's going to be close. And the near referee says no good. So falling just short there are the Birds, but they'll take the 6. And Cranford, 60 yards. I think he's probably going to be over 100, I'd have to guess, so far tonight. Exactly 100 yards tonight. The Metamora statistician tells us he's on the money, and hey, I was just guessing 100, maybe a ballpark estimate. I wasn't trying to be right on the money there, but Mr. Cranford, Mr. Century Mark.
Yeah, and that is just what they have done, been dominant. And the thing that is really interesting to me is what just happened with Sterling. You had a lot of momentum going into that drive, and you needed a stop, and you didn't get it. So you can score as much as you want on the offensive side of the ball, John, but if your defense doesn't stop, it doesn't matter. It's going to become a track derby, and then before you know it, we'll have 100 points in our game.
I was going to say, yeah, Manuel teach you that again, that in our Clutch Sports Media Game of the Week, which just wrapped up, U-High, a big winner, hung 71 on the Rams, who were leading 16-14, but again, U-High just tore apart Manuel's defense on route to a big Week 1 win. So again, encouraging sign for a somewhat new offense. Here's a kick and brought in at the 23. This is 22, Brady Hart's on the return, running right across the 30. Can't get away from the tackle there. Looks like that was Kylan. No, that was Jason Pickles making the stop.
Great tackle, even better name.
I was going to say, John, I would love to get a roster for every team in the area, make a Clutch Sports Media all-name team. Jason Pickles is definitely on there.
And has to be.
You a big pickle guy? You like eating pickles?
I do. I love a good pickle on my burger. Chicago-style dog as well.
Yep.
No ketchup on that hot dog. If you do, there's some issues with you right there. But, yeah, I love a good pickle.
Yeah, I'm not a big mustard guy. Now, I can put ketchup on my hot dogs, but I will not put ketchup on a Chicago dog. I will not commit that sin.
Good.
I just want no mustard anywhere near that. Big throw from Burlett. Put some mustard on that throw. But Kylan McMillan breaks it up. That could have been the biggest play of the night for the Golden Warriors.
Wow, that was a really big stop. That's a great ball in his hands. I would say you have to squeeze it, but that's also great defense by McMillan. His hand was literally in there. He swatted the ball away. So great offense, even better defense. So you can't be mad. Sterling, you're really starting to see they're getting a lot more confident on offense, but it doesn't mean anything because their defense has not been able to stop Metamora.
And easier said than done against this multifaceted Redbirds attack. Here's a little bit of a sweep play. And a good tackle again from McMillan. Got
All
him by
over
the ankles.
Yeah, McMillan has been a game changer on offense and defense. Has 2 touchdowns and one big pass breakup, and that's a first down saving tackle right there. Grabs him by the ankles, and it really shows his versatility.
Again, we talked with Nick Delinsky pretty much all summer. Every time we mentioned Kylan McMillan is about his offensive skill set. I frankly didn't know if he was going to play much on defense, but he's showing us tonight.
Exactly.
3rd and 8 now for Sterling from their own 34. 7:39 to go as the Golden Warriors try and punch back.
Need a first down here, and you need to stop them. I know I've been saying this, but that's what you need to do.
Play clock down to 3. They snap it, but Berlin going down. Barbarinas was the second one there, but the first one there was 22. I believe that was Grady Neal. Again, a little bit of two different rosters we were provided from Metamora. That was either Grady Neal or Saul Swanson, one of those two.
Yeah, but Sterling, you have a great start to the drive with a beautiful deep pass play, and you just flail out. That's been the name of the game today for Sterling. You've had one great play, but you haven't been able to put them together to have a great drive, except for really one drive that. The drive that you scored at the end of the first half, you had one good play, and that was a touchdown play. But the first drive of this half, you had a great start, and you haven't been able to really build on it.
The snap is clean on this punt. Brought in at the 35. Here's Pickles out across the 40. He's got a lane, got some blockers, and a nice return there for about 16, 17 yards or so. And, John, again, this Sterling offensive line is still trying to replace some key starters. They got a big left tackle, A.J. Coleman, been a starter since his freshman year. They got Jeremiah Muhammad up there as well, who's got some experience, but they do have a sophomore center, Dylan Schreiner. They have a freshman at right guard, Reed Miller, tonight. So, again, just a young group. They also had a freshman right tackle in Luke Jackson, who was a starter last year as a freshman, but, again, still fairly young compared to maybe some of these more experienced players on Metamora's defense.
Exactly, more experienced and bigger players as well. And size is a big thing in high school especially. College, not as much, but in high school, you are a basically 18-year-old adult going up against a potential 14, 15-year-old kid. So
there's a big difference there. Much more, much bigger in college. That is for sure. As I believe we got a timeout from John Schlemmer and Sterling. And a look at the Golden Warriors over there again. Sterling, again, they play in the Western Big Six. John, again, I know you being from Chicago, if you're familiar with many of the teams in the Western Big Six, Rock Island, Moline, Quincy.
Yeah, heard of
They
them.
all
Heard
ring
of
a
them.
bell, so Sterling will see them later this year. They're actually a recent addition. Maybe not recent. They've been in there for a few years, but I grew up in the Quad Cities area, about Rock Island, Moline. Went to a bunch of Rock Island games as a kid. And, that back then it was, actually 6 teams. There's Rock Island, Moline, Alleman, United Township, and East Moline, Galesburg, and Quincy. Since then, the conference has added Sterling and Geneseo, a very strong 4A team, much like Metamora.
Exactly.
Great playoff tradition. And so now, again, Western Big Six now one of those leagues that says 6, but in reality it's actually a lot more than that.
Just like the Big Ten. Just like the Big Ten, John.
You're exactly. Run up the middle, not much doing there for Metamora.
Now, John, I got to hold myself accountable. You say I'm from Chicago. I'm from the Chicago suburbs. A lot of people, when they say they're from Chicago, are usually from the Chicago suburbs. So I'm from a suburb of Chicago. So anyone who's watching who's from the Chicagoland area, I'm from a suburb of Chicago. I'm not from Chicago.
Good to clarify.
Have to clarify that.
Good to clarify. I like holding yourself accountable there. And again, I am slightly guilty of that as well. I grew up partially outside of Milwaukee, and people ask down here at Bradley where I was from. I said, I'm from around Milwaukee. Sometimes I say Milwaukee, but I live 40 minutes away from downtown. Nowhere near. Here's a handoff. Cranford dancing around the backfield. A little bit too early for homecoming there. Practicing his dance moves in the backfield.
Yeah, and it looks like there's an injured Sterling. He looks like he's in a lot of pain right now in the backfield.
As a D lineman for the Golden Warriors here. 5:34 to go. It's going to be a 3rd and 9 for the Redbirds. And Cranford will be heading up to DeKalb to play Northern Illinois next year. And, John, I think some people try to argue DeKalb is a Chicago suburb. I do not think DeKalb is a suburb.
No, DeKalb is not a suburb. That's like saying Peoria is a suburb of St. Louis in Illinois. That's like saying Peoria is a suburb of Chicago. A suburb of a city needs to be, I would say, 20 to 30 minutes. That's how far I am from the city. From the borders of the city, like 10, 15. But you need to be – you can't be in cornfields to be a suburb.
Fair enough. Here's Petrie looking to throw,
Wow.
spinning around, but he's getting brought down by a pair of Golden Warriors in the backfield. There and on that stop was number 29, Isaiah McLaren, sophomore linebacker.
Nice play. The thing that really made that sack possible was that jump. That jump stopped Petrie from making a throw on that ball. So a really good play by Sterling's defense. And now you lost some momentum. Maybe you get it back here with 4 minutes and change to left in the third quarter as you get the ball back here.
And James Miller, junior D lineman, first time we've called his name, also in on that sack, splitting it with McLaren on that play. So 4th and 17, obvious punting situation here for the Birds. Punt is away. A little bit of pressure off the left side, but they get it away. Line drive. Not much time to get down there, but a good tackle there on special teams.
It was
82 for the Redbirds. Nice tackle there from Connor Graham, senior tight end.
Yeah, and also a really nice return, especially with that being a line drive. The ball was coming at you fast, and it's not like the defenders were coming at you any slower. So a nice sort of gain on that catch as you caught it right at the 30-yard line. Now you're right around that. You're right at the your 45-yard line. So you've got. It's not like you haven't gotten good field position if you're Sterling. You have gotten great field position with the ball. Now you need to capitalize on it. That's been their issue all game. You have not been able to capitalize on the moments that you've had.
Again, John, looking at, just time and score, Sterling goes down, gets a touchdown here, gets a 2-point conversion. It's a 2-possession game headed into the fourth quarter. So, again, I think, if they can get a touchdown here, they're still in this one. Even could come in the fourth.
Exactly.
Yeah. Lots of game left to be played. It was 30-0 early on for Metamora with 5:28 to go in the second after McMillan's second touchdown grab of the night.
Yeah, but you're still in this game if you're Sterling. Like, it might not feel like it because of how dominant Metamora has been, but you're still very much in this game.
Berlin drops back. Good protection here. Looking to throw. Going deep. Cranford in coverage.
Yeah.
And there's a flag. I think that one was warranted. He can't believe it. I believe that was actually McMillan in coverage. Cranford was on the near side.
It was an iffy call, but there was definitely some contact that definitely affected the ball being caught. So if you don't like the call, there was that one bad call early on in the first half that I didn't really agree with that gave Metamora
it's
another
week
chance.
1 for refs
Exactly,
too.
exactly. So there's going to be some rust for both players, refs, coaches, everything. So there's going to be some iffy calls.
It's week 1 also for us here too at Clutch Sports and Media, but we're again glad you're with us here in our WMBD Game of the Week. Again, stay tuned to where we'll be next week. Got some great rivalry games on tap, especially in the Big 12. So stay tuned to our social media channels to learn more about that. And a big tackle there at the 49. Metamora still playing pretty pumped up. That was a big hit there by 37. Again, we don't have the nameless 37 evades us again.
Very physical play, though, and that's something that you like to see if you're Metamora. You guys are maintaining a very physical presence on the field, and you're up by 3 scores, and you're still being this physical, which is something that should be very good. Is your guys are never satisfied, which is a reason why they're number 8 in the poll for 4A schools.
Again, Sterling receiving votes in Class 5A. Here's a screen pass and a great tackle there on De La Cruz. Open field tackle. I think that might have been, no, that was Aiden Wallace, the junior, and a new starter for Nick Dolinsky's defense this year. He was pumped up after that one.
That's a big play. It feels like we're talking about college football with all the new guys we've called, with McMillan having such a big game, but that's sort of the name of the game now in really high school athletics and college. You're going to be getting a lot of transfers if your school does well. Metamora has proven that they've become one of the best football programs in the country, or in the state, sorry.
As far as their tradition goes, probably hard to match across the country. As a pass, was it completed?
Beautiful.
It was. Just before he hit the ground. That was number 4 again, Quincy Moss.
Beautiful.
Another catch.
Beautiful catch. The throw, you can't be mad about that throw. The throw was made under big-time pressure, so a really good throw, and now you're 1 yard, right? Probably inches, 4th and inches. You got to go for this, especially the score of the game. You got to be aggressive.
Most definitely. 4-down territory, probably the rest of the game for the Sterling Golden Warriors. Again, this game last year, Metamora won at 28-9. They already surpassed that point total in the first half. Here's a big play from the 41. We get a timeout called by John Schlemmer on the Golden Warriors sideline. But, John, going back to that game last year between Metamora and Sterling, looking at the stats of that one earlier today, Metamora only averaged about 3 yards per carry. They had 34 rushes for 100 yards. Cranford has that on his own tonight. Petrie and Allen have a few more. So, again, a lot better rushing performance this time around for the Redbirds.
Yeah, and you don't have to rely a lot on the passing, but you still have seen glimpses of great passing today by Petrie. So you can be a little frustrated that, yeah, you haven't been as dominant in the pass game as you were last year against them in the passing game, but you have been dominant in the run game, and when you had to be in the passing game, you were really good, and you came up when you needed to. And I think a big reason to that is that first touchdown. That 62-yard touchdown pass really set the tone for Metamora, and also kind of put Sterling's defense on edge, and they're still on edge. They don't really know what's coming.
So 4th and inches for the Golden Warriors. Here's that direct snap. I think that's Casson, and I don't know if he got it. I think he did, though, on the second effort.
That's a really big second effort play. I mean, he was contacted behind the line of scrimmage and was able to somehow pull that into a first down. So great play to keep the drive going.
And also, we mentioned tonight's game being streamed on CI Proud, also live in the brand new WMBD Plus app. As Sterling Another screen pass there, and Bulker gets away from 2 tackles. Now inside the 30. Golden Warriors in business into the red zone. And that screen pass has been working wonders. And again, that was Deseo Ibarra Castillo, a sophomore for Sterling, part of a bright future for this squad.
Been calling his name a lot today, so he's been doing a lot for Sterling as they started to try and make this comeback. But, yeah, you've had a great second half with -1 bad drive. You've had 2 this is a great drive. You're most likely going to get points out of this drive, but you need a touchdown.
Again, they do have Gephardt, who's long as 47. He was a run from De La Cruz, trying to string it out to the outside. Got over a man inside the 5. Another impressive run from Maurice De La Cruz.
Been calling
inside
that name
a minute
a lot as
left
well.
to go in the 3rd.
I think you go faster. You try and get a touchdown before the end of the quarter here. You try and build. You try and get you if that's so much seconds matter, especially in this game where you're down 3 possessions. You can cut this to 2 possessions in this quarter. That's really big. So I think you need a touchdown right here.
Definitely. Again, Sterling did get that kickoff to start the 3rd quarter. So I think that, again, they didn't score on that drive, but it helps them kind of work some kinks out as they are in week 1. Now from the 1. 3 wide receivers and direct snap, running in right into a Redbird wall.
Wow.
Redbird's defense was ready for that there.
I mean, that's almost like Metamora was in the huddle when Sterling called that play. They knew who was getting the ball, where the ball was going. They knew everything about that play. So great defense by Metamora, and now Sterling looks like they're probably just going to let this clock run out.
Clock running down, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter. So Metamora still leads, but Sterling is knocking on the door. We'll see what they have coming up right after this on our WMBD Game of the Week on CIProud.com and the WMBD Plus app.
We are Local Union 649. Our commitment to safety, our state-of-the-art training facility, and our pride in the work we do to build America is what makes us stand out from the rest. We are Local 649 of the International Union of Operating Engineers, and we are looking for the next generation of equipment operating apprentices. With Local 649, you'll find more than a career. You'll find a family, creating legacies since 1917.
Trade up to a better future. Trade up to a job you enjoy. Trade up to trade school. At Midwest Technical Institute, you get the skills you need to start a career that moves you up in life, towards your goals, your passions, and your ambitions. Choose from one of our skilled trade programs, including welding and pipe fitting, or HVAC and refrigeration. Earn the experience, knowledge, and confidence to change your life. Trade school is just the beginning. Start your journey today at midwesttech.edu.
Welcome back to Metamora. You see some fans out there in jersey, some students. It's jersey night for the Redbirds. I see a Michael Jordan jersey. I see a Kentucky number 1. Is that
John Wall?
John Wall, recently retired.
Yeah.
John Wall looks like a few other jerseys down there as well. I'd love to just walk through the student section and see what all kinds they got in there. 2nd and goal now from the 2. Golden Warriors handoff, and right there in the backfield right away, the first man there was Barbarinas, and his reinforcements came in for a big TFL.
This is, I mean, you did all the hard work here if you're Sterling. You got it within the 1, arguably, or at the 1 yard line, and you haven't been able to do anything. I mean, you did all the hard work and haven't been able to put the icing on the cake, so to speak.
And still got 2 more plays. Again, essentially treat this like a 2nd and goal.
Yes.
3 wide receivers here. 2 of them in man coverage. Here's a pass, a little crossing route, and another good tackle. That might have saved a touchdown there from Grady Neal.
You go for this. There should be no hesitation. You need to go for this. You need to go for this on 4th. You need a touchdown. You can't, especially being in the 4th now, it needs to be a touchdown. Touchdown or bust, and I think this is the game.
What is the play call here, John Shikoda? Again, Sterling has got a touchdown from De La Cruz. They've seen success in the pass game. Do you throw it up to Quincy Moss? What do you do here?
I really want to say you go to De La Cruz because he's been the biggest the biggest factor for you. But if you're throwing the ball, you need to go to Moss. But De La Cruz, like it's either De La Cruz or Moss. That's what I think. And if you snapped it quick enough, you could have gotten offside.
Metamora, some late personnel changes. 4th and goal. Redbird students on their feet. And we get a timeout on the Redbird sideline. Again, a little bit of confusion there. And again, maybe Berlin showing his inexperience there, maybe not knowing, hey, if we got the snap off, we could have gotten a flag, made it 4th and 3 essentially. But again, 6 yards. The part about it, John, is again, it becomes so tough near the goal line because there's just less turf to defend if you're Metamora.
Exactly.
So that's what, again, it's maybe 4th and 6 to the goal line, maybe more like a 4th and 10 or 4th and 11 anywhere else on the field.
Exactly, yeah, because Metamora has, you guys basically have an extra defender. You have a 12th man on the field with the back line. The back line is basically another defender because you can't, if you go out of that, I mean, you literally can't.
Self-explanatory there, yep.
It is definitely a harder thing, and especially with Sterling and how they've been really struggling today on offense. It's not the best, but you got a nice short play there. I think you have to go to De La Cruz here, though. He's been your whole entire offense today. So let's see if he can get you another touchdown as the fans are getting rowdy.
They come back to life again, start waving their towels around. 3 wide receivers here for the Golden Warriors. Man in motion, that's De La Cruz. They look across the middle, and there's too many black jerseys for Sterling. Turnover on downs and a big stop from the Metamora defense.
Big stop by Metamora, able to get basically their whole, what felt like their whole team to make that big tackle. But now, if you're Sterling, yeah, it sucks that you turned the ball over, but now they have the ball inside their own 5-yard line, and you are able to maybe get a safety, maybe get them to turn the ball over. You'll get the ball in their territory most likely, so we'll see. Sterling can still take a positive from this.
They tried to get it across the middle, but again, just wasn't quite there. I thought they might have been going to De La Cruz, and I think that was the hope, was that Metamora focused on him, and then the guy came across the outside, but across the middle of the field, rather, but big tackle there. You saw Aiden Wallace, 25, just jumping up. He is really pumped up for his first varsity start, at least that we know of here tonight. 1st and 10 from the 5, and we get a flag, and I think it's a delay of game.
That's, I mean,
for Petrie and the Birds.
We've been talking about Sterling and their sort of lack of mental accountability, and you just saw that. Now you're pushed back even more, and taking a play as a quarterback in your own end zone has to be, I mean, I was, I never was a quarterback, so I can't speak to this a lot, but it has to be one of the hardest things to do, because now you have basically another defender in the back line as well. So
you don't want to pull a Dan Orlovsky.
Exactly. Even though he is a great ESPN analysis, I will not lie, but that's one of the roughest plays in NFL history.
Handoff goes. Cranford spun around and brought down at the line of scrimmage. And again, you feel bad for Dan because, again, backup quarterback for most of his career, don't get in the game much. And the one thing you're known about, is for running out of the back of the end zone.
Being on the worst team in NFL history, 0-16 Detroit Lions.
That must have been brutal back then. But again, it seems like he's doing much better for himself now. And
so are the Lions.
Exactly.
So are the Lions.
Exactly. So now 2nd and 12 from the 4. Cranford in the backfield for Metamora. And again, Redbirds, they don't have to necessarily score on this drive. They can just move the chains a couple times and eat some clock. Cranford bouncing it to the outside. Flag is down. He goes across the 10. Made something out of nothing. But again, Johnny, you said might be holding there. We'll see what the call is.
Especially just with the way where the flag was thrown and in the way Cranford was running, it looks like it has face mask. Whoa.
So that will most likely, again, face mask usually on the defense, so that will move Metamora forward there and make things harder for the Golden Warriors to come back. And
good thing I'm not a ref, right, John? Good thing I'm not a ref.
Yeah, we are We are high atop the Malone Field bleachers, and again, I was talking with the guys here in the press box before this game. I believe there's somewhere around 60 steps from ground level all the way up here, so we are pretty high up and pretty far away from the field. Big grandstand here at Malone Field.
Yeah, it's a workout, especially for someone like me who has been slacking on my cardio recently. So, yeah, going up these stairs is definitely a good workout for you.
Hand off to Cranford, trying to give Sterling's defense more of a workout. Again, Cranford, a lot of people know him as a speed guy, but John and I got to say my biggest takeaway is I think he's really bulked up a lot. He's a tougher guy to take down just, again, on the eye test than what he's maybe been in past years.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And you've seen this in this game. How many people have, when he's gotten tackled, at least 3 to 4 guys have had to tackle him. So I feel like in past years he was trying to be a lot more elusive, whereas this game, he's been a lot more into the contact side of games and in the sport. So that's a scary thing for MAC opponents now, because now he's starting to really embrace the whole idea of a running back.
Exactly. Good point there. Hand off to Cranford again. And he picks up about 4 there. And again, this year for Cranford, again, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of Keon Allen, maybe some of Jaden Lambert as well. Another senior for the Redbirds. But again, for most of Cranford's career, he's been kind of splitting carries with someone else. Last year, it was Evan Kyle. Last 2 years, really, is kind of Evan Kyle. And, Stephen Petrie obviously eats up some carries as well, so they're able to keep him fresh. But again, Cranford wasn't really a, 20 carries a game guy. This year, at least tonight, he's got a decent amount so far.
Yeah, and you have another, like we talked about, great running back to back him up in Allen, who's been great today.
And ball carrier, let's see who that was, got a first down up to the 47. That keeps the chains moving and the clock running. Looks like that was Jaden Lambert right there, right on cue. That was a solid run, pickup of about 10 or so.
Yeah, so now you use basically all 3 of your running backs if you're Metamora on your depth chart that will actually get play and have an effect on the game. So you're starting to. This is also could be another sort of game for Coach Dolinsky to see what do I have in my third string running back in Lambert. What can he help us with this season? As what Allen's bringing, what Cranford is bringing. So what can Lambert bring?
Short run there. Well, just again looking at roster in front of me, Lambert brings tough short yardage guy, 6'1", 220. So it brings a big bully presence. And the backfield certainly built, good for tough short yardage situations. As we again go inside of 7 minutes here. And a lot of other final scores in the area tonight. John, I have to bet we're probably going to be the latest game running, at least in the central Illinois area. Peoria High beat Champaign Centennial 42-0. How about Princeville 54-7 over Havana, over in small school action.
I mean, that is no 70 points. It's not almost 100 in a game. Wow.
Petrie airs it out, looking for McMillan. Defender threw him down.
What? That's terrible.
And no flag on that play. There was definitely some contact there. Again, not sure if the referee saw it or not. But, again, we play on 3rd and 6 here with, again, Metamora leading 36-14. So 3rd and 6, again, as we approach the midway point of the 4th quarter. And we get a whistle, a timeout on Metamora. So, let's take a look at the upcoming schedules for both teams. And for Metamora, they will be on the road next week. They will be at LaSalle, Peru, another familiar non-conference foe. And then in week 3, they'll be right back here against Washington. Week 3, big rivalry matchup.
That'll be a big game.
At Wolf.
I know I'm new to the Central Illinois football realm, but from what I hear from you and everyone around, some buddies that have attended Washington, it's a really big game for both communities, as they're both basically neighbors.
Yeah, I drove through Washington on my way here today. I was coming from our new studio in Morton, who, by the way, Metamora will be taking them on in week 4 on the road. That should be a good game. And again, John, just, again, I know you're, kind of just talking about the Mid-Illini and everything. I think a lot of people this year might think, though, that it's a little bit more wide open than in past years, right? Washington, we know, is probably going to be pretty good despite a tough 1-point loss tonight.
Yeah.
Pekin, a team that a lot of people are high on, and it was playing Plainfield South tonight. We'll see if we can grab one of the scores from that game. But again, they're in contention. Dunlap and Max Sutter, obviously. What can he do for the Eagles this year? And obviously Metamora and a playoff-hungry Morton team as well. As here's a good run from Petrie, showing his nimble feet across the 40-yard line and a first down.
Yeah, but, I mean, if Metamora plays like this, there's no way. I mean, it looks like it's going to be hard for anyone in their conference to compete with them with how dominant they've been in all facets of the game, at the line of scrimmage, running the ball. So they've been really good.
Take a quick look at Sterling's schedule. They'll take on Urban Prep Bronzeville, a Chicago school, at home next week. Then they host Moline. The Maroons coming to town. Then they're at United Township a week after that. And maybe a chance for, don't know much about Urban Prep Bronzeville. I like to say I know a lot about Illinois high school football. That school I don't really know a ton about. We do know Jadon Cranford is having a whale of a night, and he runs for another first down and pick up of about 11 there.
I mean, it's like putting salt into the wound for Sterling. I mean, Cranford is just, this guy really does not stop until the game is over. So that play just kind of describes the game, I feel like. The amount of explosiveness and the room that he had and free real estate to sort of run the ball there was pretty dominant.
Again, nice job by the guys up front for Metamora as well. Again, Jeffrey Reyes, Jay Murphy, Owen Cable, Riley Blue, and Logan Grapp. 3 new starters on that line for the Birds.
Looks like they've been playing together for years.
Here's a handoff up the middle, and it looked like that might have been Vinny Rasmussen, senior running back for them, who wasn't on our depth chart, but he gets the carry tonight here on senior night. So good for him. A nice little jaunt there down inside the red zone.
Yeah, and also kind of a dominant run, was carrying some people with him as well on that. So not only was it a good run for him and, morally you get to carry the ball on your senior night, but also a dominant sort of run where you didn't really go down easy. You brought some people with you, which is always fires up the bench.
Exactly. Metamora's had lots of those tough runs tonight. 2nd and 1 now. And it's a kind of a option, goes to Rasmussen, and look at all those white shirts there. If Sterling could have done that a little bit more earlier in the game, I think we might have been looking at a closer score. Maybe the Golden Warriors even in front. That's a positive play.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like second half Sterling, you play like you have in the second half. Yeah, you only scored 1 more touchdown, but so did Metamora. You got a tie game arguably going into the fourth. So I think if you played like you did in the second half, it's a completely different game, completely different team in the second half for Sterling. So, yeah, you're probably not going to get the outcome you want with Sterling today, but take the positives. The second half, this was a completely different team, a way better team as well.
And again, if you, as Lambert goes inside the 15, still staying on his feet, you take away a little kind of, a 4.5-minute stretch, right? For Metamora, that second quarter, the touchdown run from Allen at 9:47, the 8-yard run from Petrie after that blotched punt. That was a big one.
Yep.
And then again at 5:28, there's another that throw from Petrie to McMillan. So again, you take that away, and we're essentially looking at a tie game.
Exactly.
So again, it's just that one key stretch in that second quarter is what really has built this Metamora lead.
Yeah, totally. And I've talked to I've called a Bradley soccer game, and their coach Regan was preaching in one of their losses, and they drew in one game. Their mistakes were not because the team was better than them; it's because they beat themselves. And that's what Sterling has done today. So yeah, it's a rough loss. It looks bad, but a lot of it is you just really beat yourself. The other team was not necessarily better than you. They just took advantages of your mistakes.
Yeah, that blocked punt was a big momentum shift in this one. But again, it's all part of growing up with, a young team, a team that, again, it's still week 1. A loss is not going to knock you out of the playoffs.
Totally.
As a Golden Warrior is down here with 3:08 to go.
And especially if you're a team in your division getting votes, people know you're legit. Metamora knows you're legit. That's the reason why they're not taking the foot off the gas, because they know you guys can flip it like that. Yeah, it's 36 to 14, but they still know how capable you are, Sterling, as an offense. So there's a reason why they're doing this.
And a player down for Sterling, that was number 11, Vitor Polo, H-back and linebacker for them. He's helped back up to his feet. The good news is tonight, John, again, I would assume it looks like most of the injuries tonight have been kind of cramps, nothing too serious. I remember there was one Metamora game we did last year where Redbirds were going down left and right. You just hated to see that.
Exactly.
You hate to see these kids work so hard for the season. And again, it's not like the NFL. This is only 9 games long. At least the regular season is. That's what you're guaranteed. So, again, we talked with so many coaches in our previews leading up to the year and asked them the biggest key of the season, and a lot of them said staying healthy.
Yeah, and that's what, currently watching the Kansas City Chiefs Kingdom documentary. So, watching that, and their whole issue last season was injuries, and that's, I feel like, what the issue is with a lot of these sports now is injuries are so important and ruins a lot of the team's success.
Another carry for Rasmussen. He's looking pretty solid as, again, another back for Metamora. But, yeah, staying healthy, definitely a big key. Again, if Metamora can keep Cranford on the field, can keep Petrie on the field, can keep guys like McMillan, Braden Bittner as well. Again, haven't seen him in a bit, but hopefully he's all right. Came off the field earlier, but they can keep their key guys on the field. I really think this is a Metamora team that can really challenge for a Mid-Atlantic title, because even last year, they were 4th in the conference, were 4-3 in conference play, but 2 of those losses were only by about a touchdown or so. So they were right there. And, again, they bring back a lot of great players from last season as we're inside of 2 minutes.
Yeah, and you've seen the sort of next step that Cranford has taken, that Petrie has taken. You add McMillan now, and they've become a really great offense.
And looks like that was Rasmussen again that got tripped up. Right at about the 10-yard line or so. They'll bring up a 3rd down. So Metamora looks like they're going to start 1-0 on the year. That's a great way to start the season. Great way to start your head coaching career for Nick Dolinsky.
Yeah.
I bet he's going to sleep pretty good tonight. Yeah. He's going to see his good buddy John Schlemmer on the handshake line. And, again, you just think, you wait, you pray for this day. Nick Dolinsky said that, again, he would have been fine being the assistant coach as long as possible when Jared Grebner, their former head coach, was here. They were really close friends, and I'm sure Jared is watching somewhere tonight, either at home or maybe even here on CIProud.com. But, again, he was content with being, kind of the sidekick. Jared Grebner resigned and wanted to spend more time with his family. Totally understandable. You definitely want to do that. You think long about that decision. And Nick Dolinsky ready to step up, and he is not going to forget this night anytime soon.
Totally. And also, not only did you get a win in your first game, but you executed your game plan to perfection. You gave him different looks. You gave him all those play option looks. So it was a really great, dominant game by Metamora.
Petrie looking to pass. Got a man wide open. Did he bring it in? He did. Touchdown, Redbirds. Petrie hooks up with his receiver to try and see who that is. The Redbirds mobbing him right there. That was 48. That was their tight end, Elijah Edwards, the junior, getting his first touchdown of the season from a few yards out.
Yeah, I mean, this is another great sign for Metamora fans as well, is Coach Dolinsky's never satisfied. That touchdown may not seem like a morally right thing to do, but has the clock hit 0? No. So I think as long as the clock is going, you have every right to keep on scoring, keep on putting on, even though, yes, sometimes it could be, wrong. I completely get it. You want to prove a point. Also, first game of the year, Coach Dolinsky's first head coaching game, so you want to make this memorable for yourself. I get that.
Yeah, and again, I don't think John Schlemmer is going to take it too seriously.
No, yeah.
Again, these guys are good friends. Going to be, I'm sure, a long handshake line going through as a Golden Warrior down on the field here is we're close to wrapping this one up at 10:26 p.m. John, I'm not even sure if I'll be able to get back to the WMBD studio tonight for Game Day Live overtime. with Kurt Pegler. But again, sometimes it's just life on the job.
Exactly.
And again, it's been a great game. It's just been good to be back out here again. You got basketball season, you got the spring sports, baseball, softball. Each sport has, each season has got their own, great things about it. But there really is nothing like, driving in, first football game of the year. There's just something special in the year. The weather's perfect.
I think that's another great thing that makes today even better. Is we were worried about some rain coming in today. Tonight we avoided it, thankfully. It was a beautiful day, sunny, beautiful, warm day, and then when the clouds went down, a beautiful fall, chilly night for a great. One of the most beautiful things in the world, which is a sport, and specifically American football.
Exactly. Hey, wanted to make a point. It's American football, not for. Just make sure it's not confused with soccer. Soccer's fine and dandy as well, but I would have to agree with you there.
Yeah, and I was talking about sports. That's why I wanted to specify because, if you're watching this, you obviously watch American football. You know what I'm talking about when I say football, but you never know. So just wanted to be safe there. But, yeah, this has been a really great way to start the season. Game was not as advertised in the sense of how it went in Metamora's favor, but this game was full of awesome stuff.
And a kickoff there recovered by the Golden Warriors. No return there. They'll take over with 93 seconds to go. And at this point, just trying to find something positive to take into next week again against Urban Prep Bronzeville. But again, some positives to take away for Sterling. I think De La Cruz was good. I think Berlin. I think as the game went along, I think he really settled in and he showed some confidence. In his passes. He's trying for a few deep balls. He's got the arms. So again, excited to see. Excited to just follow along with the Sterling team and see how this young group progresses as the year goes along. Because I'm sure that will happen. Yeah,
specifically with Berlin. You saw in the second half he was a completely different quarterback. Completely, way more confident. Way more belief in his ability, and De La Cruz. He had their 2 touchdowns, so he was a real game changer for him. And the one thing they didn't do is what Coach was preaching to us: mental mistakes, winning special teams, and winning at the line. Those were the 3 things that I sort of got from the conversation with him. Is if we do this, we will be in this game and we have a chance to win it. And first game of the year, it's good that you didn't do it now rather than 5 games into the season.
Exactly. It's still week 1. You got time. So we'll see what the Golden Warriors can do here. They might just be ready to get on the bus and get back home. Certainly wish the Golden Warriors a safe trip home and best of luck the rest of the season to them as well. Metamora here at CSM, we'll probably see them at some point later on this season. Probably a couple times, if we're being honest with you, is defense ready to make a tackle there, just getting some of the backups in there and maybe making some memories, maybe a 1 or 2 in the stat sheet for a few key seniors.
Yeah, and that means a lot. To the casual fan, that might not mean anything to you, but as someone who participated in high school sports and was on a varsity team, being able to play, especially in your senior year, on your last and your senior night means a lot. So that's a good sign from both coaches. So, yeah, I think it means a lot to any of these players that gets any sort of action.
Well, the clock is going to run out. Metamora, a Week 1 winner with some emphasis over Sterling, 43-14. The Nick Dolinsky era is off to a hot start for the Redbirds. They were in control all night. We'll send to a quick break and wrap things up here on CIProud.com.
You deserve local news that checks all the boxes. Your WMBD News team will bring you
engaging and informative stories. Check.
Newsmaker interviews getting your questions answered. Check.
Accurate up-to-the-second forecasts that keep your family safe. Check. The best in local sports highlights from across Central Illinois. Check.
No matter what, WMBD will be right here to bring you the news that matters most to you.
WMBD, Central Illinois proud.
Welcome back to Metamora, and there's the handshake line between the Redbirds and Golden Warriors. A good, clean game between both teams tonight. John Shikoda, what are your final thoughts from this one here tonight?
Dominance by Metamora. Sterling, you have to build on this really strong second half that you had, but Metamora, keep on playing how you did today, and you will be one of the best teams in the state.
Definitely a big night for the Redbirds. Kylan McMillan, 2 touchdowns his Redbird debut. Stephen Petrie was strong as well. Ran for a touchdown, threw for a few. Jadon Cranford over 100 yards receiving. Big night for the Redbirds on both sides of the ball. So for all of our entire Clutch Sports media crew working hard and doing a great job tonight, Dalton Carmine, our director, the man behind it all, Mark Wagner, our producer, Ryan Angelo, Jalen Harris out running cameras, and Micah Rabin helping us out behind the scenes as well. And my broadcast partner, John Shikoda. I'm Jonathan Michaels saying so long, and we'll see you next week here on CIProud.com for more high school football in Central Illinois. Until then, so long, folks. Have a great rest of your night.